And next time you pull that dipstick, remember, that dark film of oil is your engine's first line of defense. Now you know how to give it a second one. Subscribe. Share this video with anyone who drives. It was not because a corporation was hiding the truth from you, but because nobody had a financial reason to tell you until now. Boundary friction happens every cold morning, every traffic jam, and every hard pull onto the highway. A few dollars per oil change is what stands between you and thousands of extra miles of engine life. The gap was never about access. It was about awareness. Now you know what the taxi drivers in Tokyo know, what the mining engineers in South Africa know, what the additive chemists at Infinium and Lubrizol know, have known for decades. Your engine's worst enemy is not time. The tribochemistry that turns it into liquid armor has been published in peer-reviewed journals since the 1960s. The products that deliver it are available at any well-stocked auto parts store. It is sitting on a shelf you walked past because nobody told you to look. Molybdenum disulfide was saving lives in the skies over Europe a century ago. It does not always work, but it is worth trying before you sign off on major surgery. In closing, here at Astoria Prime, we have always believed that the most powerful knowledge is not hidden behind locked doors. The sustained heat and cylinder pressure can break the carbon deposits loose and free the rings. Mechanics sometimes call this an Italian tune-up, and it costs nothing but fuel and time. Get the engine fully warmed up, not just the coolant, but the oil temperature. Then take it on an open highway and hold a consistent load at 3,000 to 4,000 revolutions per minute for 15 to 20 minutes. They are not broken, they are stuck, and stuck rings let oil slip past into the combustion chamber. Before you approve a $4,000 rebuild, try this. The trade-off is that these rings are more susceptible to carbon buildup, especially if you mostly drive short trips at low RPMs. Over time, carbon deposits can pack into the ring grooves and essentially paralyze the rings in place. One more thing. If your car has started burning oil, do not automatically assume the engine is worn out. Modern engines use low-tension piston rings designed to reduce friction and improve fuel economy. You are trying to push past the point where the manufacturer's accountants assumed you would give up and buy a new one. Here is a bonus tip for clearing carbon lock. At $50,000 per new vehicle, every year you extend your engine's healthy life is money directly back in your pocket. You are not trying to make your engine last forever. Quality MoDTC additives run anywhere from $10 to $25 per bottle, which works out to a few dollars per oil change when properly dosed. Now consider the other side of that equation. This is not a one-time treatment. It is an ongoing maintenance practice. The cost is modest. But remember that research has shown the tribofilm is continuously being formed and removed during operation. It requires a constant supply of the additive to maintain protection. Do this consistently at every oil change. The MoS2 layer builds gradually over multiple oil change cycles, progressively smoothing the microscopic roughness of your engine's internal surfaces. Pour in the measured dose of the molybdenum additive as the manufacturer specifies, then top off to the correct dipstick level. Start the engine and let it reach operating temperature. Drain your oil and replace the filter as normal. Add your fresh engine oil, leaving about half a quart of capacity. You want verified tribochemistry, not marketing. The application is straightforward. Look for products that list molybdenum dithiocarbamate or MoDTP on the label or in the technical data sheet. Avoid vague, proprietary friction modifier claims with no chemistry disclosed. Read the technical data sheets, not just the marketing copy on the front of the bottle. Path 2 is to add a dedicated organomolybdenum supplement at each oil change. Look for full synthetic oils that specifically mention molybdenum or MoDTC in their additive technology. Several Japanese and German oil brands formulate with organomolybdenum as standard. Path 1 is the simplest. Choose your next engine oil carefully. So how do you use this knowledge? You have two paths. For cars, trucks, and SUVs with separate transmission systems, this is not a concern. This is the practical protocol. If you ride a motorcycle with a wet clutch that shares engine oil, MoDTC can cause the clutch plates to slip. The friction reduction that protects engine internals works against you when you need friction to engage a clutch. MoDTC works within the oil, not instead of it. And there is one important exception. You still need to change your oil on schedule. you still need to use the correct viscosity and specification for your vehicle. Over tens of thousands of miles, those incremental reductions add up to meaningful extension of engine life. It is also not a substitute for proper maintenance. What Mazda does is reduce friction during boundary lubrication events. That means less wear during cold starts, less wear during stop-and-go driving, and less wear during moments of high mechanical stress. If your engine already has significant wear, worn bearings, scored cylinder walls, or failed gaskets, adding a friction modifier will not fix those problems. You need a mechanic, not a bottle of additive. It does not make your engine immortal. It does not reverse existing mechanical damage. MoDTC is not a miracle compound. It does not stop all engine wear. What this can and cannot do is an honest assessment. Before we get to the practical steps, let us be clear about limitations. The people who make their living from their engines already know about this chemistry. The question is whether you should too. It is rigorous maintenance with oils that are engineered with high concentrations of friction modifiers, including MoDTC. When your profit depends on every kilometer, you do not leave engine protection to chance. While the average American trades in a vehicle every 7 to 10 years, taxi operators in Japan and Southeast Asia routinely run their original engine blocks well past 300,000 and even 500,000 kilometers. Their advantage is not magical cars. Meanwhile, in industries where equipment failure occurs and has immediate financial consequences, organomolybdenum technology is standard practice. These include mining operations running heavy equipment in extreme conditions, marine diesel engines, industrial turbines, and high-mileage commercial taxi fleets in Asia. This is not because F1 engines run on Liqui Moly products. That is a marketing sponsorship. But it is because the company understands that the audience watching F1 cares about engine performance. Here is one of the most telling pieces of evidence. Liqui Moly, the company that was literally founded on molybdenum technology, has been an official sponsor of Formula One since 2019. And that gap costs you money. This is the professional secret. Modern MoDTC formulations are designed to work within today's emissions-compatible oil specifications. The real gap is between what the industry knows and what the average car owner knows. But this was a reformulation challenge, not a suppression. The industry adapted. Early molybdenum formulations, along with other anti-wear additives like ZDDP, contained sulfur and phosphorus that could reduce catalytic converter effectiveness over time. This required reformulation, which took years, and shifted industry focus toward lower sulfur, lower phosphorus additive packages. There is also a legitimate technical complication from the 1970s that slowed adoption. The energy crises of that decade forced governments to implement strict emission standards, including the widespread adoption of catalytic converters. Oil companies market their finished blends. The individual ingredients remain invisible. These are all critical components of modern engine oil. Nobody markets them individually because there is no money in educating consumers about additive chemistry. How often do you see advertisements for zinc in your motor oil, or calcium sulfonates? Or are these polyisobutylamine dispersants? It is an unpatentable chemical compound with no sexy marketing angle. Think about it this way. MoDTC is an additive ingredient sold by specialty chemical companies like Infinium, Lubrizol, and Oronite to oil formulators. There is no consumer brand behind it, no company spending millions on Super Bowl commercials to tell you about tribochemical reactions. So why do most people not know about it? The answer is economics, not conspiracy. Premium full synthetic oils from major brands, including some factory-fill oils used by Japanese and European automakers, contain organomolybdenum friction modifiers as part of their additive packages. When you buy a high-quality WW1 synthetic formulated for fuel economy, there is a good chance MoDTC is already in the bottle. MoDTC is not a secret. It is not suppressed. In fact, it is already in many of the engine oils you can buy right now. They claim a shadowy corporate decision in the late 1970s killed the compound to protect profits from engine replacements. The reality is less dramatic, but in many ways more frustrating. Here is where most videos on this topic take a wrong turn. They tell you there was a conspiracy and that manufacturers buried the technology. So why is this not standard knowledge for every car owner? This is why the bottom shelf stays on the bottom shelf. The science is real. The mechanism is well documented. Through the 1970s and 1980s, Japanese researchers, including Yamamoto and Gondo, used X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy to confirm the mechanism and optimize the chemistry. By the late 1990s, Toyota was developing low-viscosity engine oils, specifically formulated with MoDTC, to improve fuel economy. In 1963, researchers Fong, Perlstein, and Adams published one of the earliest studies. They demonstrated that organomolybdenum compounds combined with ZDDP, another common oil additive, could form OS2 directly on rubbing metal surfaces. That is a significant reduction, though it is important to note these are laboratory results under controlled conditions. Real-world engine environments are more complex. Laboratory testing shows that MoDTC can reduce friction coefficients in the boundary regime. It goes from typical values of 0.1 to 0.12 down to as low as 0.05 to 0.08. The friction itself triggers the protection. The compound builds its shield precisely where the engine needs it most and nowhere else. The organic carrier decomposes, and the molybdenum reacts with sulfur to deposit a vanishingly thin layer of pure MoS2 directly onto the metal surface. Scientists call this a tribochemical reaction. Under normal conditions, MoDTC is just another dissolved molecule floating through your oil. But at the exact points where boundary lubrication occurs, where those microscopic metal peaks are colliding under extreme heat and pressure, the molecule breaks apart. They flow everywhere the oil flows, and here is where the chemistry gets remarkable. These compounds were a fundamentally different approach. Instead of suspending solid particles in oil, these molecules dissolve completely in the oil itself. The liquid armor breakthrough. Through the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, researchers across the world, from Japan to Europe to the United States, were working on a new class of compounds, oil-soluble organomolybdenum molecules. The two most important are molybdenum dialkyl dithiocarbamate, known as MoDTC, and molybdenum dialkyl dithiophosphate, called MoDTP. In tight-tolerance modern engines, they were not ideal. The real breakthrough was still coming. The particles were heavy. They could settle out of suspension. The name literally means liquid molybdenum. But solid MoS2 particles suspended in oil had limitations. In 1948, an American scientist named Alfred Sontag formally introduced the first commercial MoS2 lubricants under the Molykote brand. And in 1957, in the town of Ulm, on the banks of the Danube River, a company called Liqui Moly was founded specifically to sell this technology to everyday drivers. After the wars ended, the technology trickled into civilian life through an unexpected channel. In post-war Germany, American Army surplus shops sold cans of a liquefied MoS2 lubricant. This was not about performance or fuel savings. It was pure survival engineering. The military called it emergency running properties. When the oil was gone, the OS2 that had bonded to the metal surfaces stayed behind. It created a dry, slippery shield that kept the engine running just long enough for the pilot to make it home. MoS2 has a remarkable molecular structure. Layers of molybdenum atoms sandwiched between layers of sulfur atoms. These layers slide over each other with almost no resistance, like a deck of cards fanning across a table. A dead engine at altitude was, very often, a death sentence. Someone, somewhere along the way, discovered that adding a naturally occurring mineral called molybdenum disulfide, or MoS2, to engine oil provided a critical backup. When an engine took damage, an oil tank or line could be severed in an instant. Without lubrication, the pistons would seize within minutes. From wartime survival to a German workshop on the Danube, the story starts not in a laboratory, but in the sky. During the First World War, fighter pilots faced a terrifying reality. Research in tribology consistently shows that the majority of total engine wear happens during these boundary lubrication events, not during steady-state highway cruising. Your engine is most vulnerable precisely during the driving conditions most people experience every single day. This is the engineering problem, and for over half a century, a solution has existed. In boundary lubrication, those microscopic mountain ranges collide, deform, and break off. Metal transfers from one surface to the other, that is wear. Stop-and-go traffic and high-temperature idling are also problematic. Anytime the oil film thins or breaks down, your engine enters what scientists call the boundary lubrication regime. Hard acceleration is another vulnerable moment. The mechanical forces can momentarily exceed the oil film's load-carrying capacity. For roughly the first 30 to 60 seconds after you turn the key, your engine is running with drastically reduced oil pressure. Metal is sliding against metal with minimal protection. When your car has been sitting overnight, the oil has drained to the bottom of the pan. It is cold, thick, and sluggish. And there are moments in every engine's operating cycle when those conditions simply are not met. Cold starts are the most damaging. When it works, the metal peaks never touch. The oil carries the entire load between them. But here is the problem, that oil film requires pressure and flow to function. Engine oil's primary job is to maintain what tribologists call a hydrodynamic film. That is a pressurized cushion of liquid oil that keeps the two surfaces physically separated. Instead, you would see a jagged mountain range, peaks and valleys of microscopic roughness that engineers call asperities. When your engine runs, these tiny mountain ranges on opposing surfaces slide past each other at incredible speeds. There is a mountain range inside your engine, even though your engine looks smooth from the outside. If you could shrink down to the microscopic level and walk across the surface of a piston ring or a cylinder wall, you would not see a smooth highway. This is not a conspiracy. It is something far more interesting. It is a story about chemistry, economics, and the quiet reasons why genuinely useful technologies sometimes never reach the people who need them most. Let us start with the evidence. It costs less than the price of a cup of coffee per oil change. That is what we are investigating today. What if it is a solvable engineering problem that scientists identified over 60 years ago, and the solution has been hiding in plain sight on the bottom shelf of your auto parts store? After that, clearances widen, compression drops, and the repair bills start piling up faster than the miles. But what if the single biggest factor shortening your engine's life is not some unavoidable law of physics? $50,000. And most of those engines are designed, tested, and warranted to last somewhere between 150,000 and 200,000 miles. Welcome back. In September 2025, the average price paid for a new vehicle in America crossed $50,000 for the first time in history.